Hello friends, welcome to the Cold War Prepper. My name is Lee, and gosh, this has been an exciting 2 weeks. So let me kind of bring you up to date with just what's happened in the very recent past. We were going to cook Thanksgiving dinner yesterday at my daughter's house, and so we had everything ready to go. We were going to carry it over, and the last thing we had to do was cook turkey, and we were going to do that at her house. But there's this little thing called a birth, and so her expected date was on Thanksgiving Day, and we didn't think that was going to happen. Of her two children, one was on the expected date, and the other one was like a week early. So this one we figured it would be a little bit early, but oh no! At 1 o'clock yesterday morning, we got the phone call from my daughter. Please come over and watch the two boys, so she could go to the hospital. And she and her husband went to the hospital, and at 4:58, she gave us a 10-pound, 2-ounce, 22-inch long new granddaughter. So that is such a great gift. So she'll be released from the hospital tomorrow. They're waiting for a pediatrician to come in and do a well baby check and let the baby go home. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're going to have Thanksgiving at her house on Sunday in lieu of Thanksgiving Day, but so much better. One extra seat, basically, figuratively. So that's that. So in the last 2 weeks, we've also had Father Martins and his mission from the Vatican. So he brought with him 150 relics of saints and apostles, and oh my gosh, just unbelievable. It was so phenomenal that I went 2 nights. I went Tuesday night here in this town. I went Thursday night in a different town, and just I 4 hours each night, just unbelievable, and felt so exhilarating. Of course, we don't worship the relics of saints or apostles or anything else. It just gives us something closer in history to where we were. Just somebody who was there with Christ. Gosh, it's just so rewarding, to be in the presence of somebody who was in the presence of Christ, and remember that for the first, I'm going to say up until Constantine, when he converted to Christianity, Christianity was illegal both in Israel, Judea, and Samaria, and Israel. And it was also illegal in Rome. And so, the Eucharist, the Feast of the Eucharist, we call it the Mass, was celebrated in order to celebrate Mass without being detected by the authorities. They did it in the catacombs. And so quite often as an altar, they would use the coffin of a saint or somebody who had died for the glory of God. And remember, Stephen was, I think this is in Acts 14, might be 15, but remember that Stephen was the first martyr for the church, and therefore the first saint, and he was a deacon who had been appointed, and then he was persecuted by Saul of Tarsus, who was a member of the Sanhedrin. As a matter of fact, it says right there that they laid their cloaks at the foot of Saul, indicating that he was the authority who ordered the stoning of Stephen. And Stephen was said to be an extremely good-looking person who was very charismatic and won lots of converts over to Christianity. But Saul had him stoned, and then after that, Saul went out to persecute more Christians, and that's when he was caught up on the road to Damascus, and was blinded, and then his blindness was brought out of him by Ananias when he got to Damascus, and just great stuff. But anyhow, so right now we have the beginning of the liturgical year. So in our church, we go through the entire Bible over the course of 3 years, and so our biblical year starts on the first Sunday of Advent, which is this coming Sunday. Now, Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means the coming or the arrival. And so we're looking at 2 different comings that are happening, that we're worshiping, or we're not, worshiping is not the right word, we're acknowledging is a better way of saying it. The first one is the birth of Jesus in human form, coming to earth as the Savior. And then the second arrival or second coming will be when he comes in his glory, as mentioned in Matthew 24 and Matthew 25. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at two different comings, two different arrivals, Adventists. And so we have the 4 weeks of Advent. So to celebrate that, our first liturgy, which will be this coming Sunday, first Sunday in Advent, we'll be looking at, I'm not going to give you the Psalms that we'll be reading, but in the Old Testament, the reading we'll have is Isaiah 2, verses 1 through 5, which is the prediction of Jesus' coming. And remember, this is the one that ends that they will beat their swords into plowshares. Then we have, for the Epistle, we're going to read Romans 13, verses 11 through 14. And this is the one where they say, you know the hour when he's coming, so be prepared. Just saying, basically, the warning for the second coming. And then, of course, you've got, in the Gospel is going to be Matthew 24, verses 39 through 44, which talks about the second coming as well. So we start off this Christmas season, Advent, by looking forward to the second coming. So, gosh, what an exciting 2 weeks this has been. Just so full of wonderful things to praise, glory, and admire. So, I hope that you all have a wonderful Advent season between now, Thanksgiving, and up until Christmas, and even into the new year. I hope that Pax Vobiscum, the peace be with you. I certainly hope that everything goes well with you and yours. I know that quite often we have an awful lot of trials and tribulations during the Christmas season. My dad passed away on December 7th. My oldest brother-in-law passed away right after Thanksgiving. I mean, we have a lot of things that can distract us from the glory that is good. But we can also find some strength in some of the things, some of the losses that we incur. So I'm going to ask you, please, be kind, polite, and respectful to each other. Remember, we're all in this together, so we can come out the other side together and look for the second coming. Peace be with you. Take care. Bye-bye.